this will be a quick one, hopefully. Or not, I don't know. There's going to be a long video that's going to be coming out. It's going to be pretty fucking long. About as long as your grandma. Now, there are things that we will discuss in it about the trade wars. Now, that's the most important conflict in the past, I don't know, 100 years, we'll say, in the actual book. Now, this conflict will take just about every nation involved within the continent of Atria. So, we'll just kind of go through that. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to discuss the trade wars, and we're going to kind of go into it, and then after I kind of explain some things, then the video is going to go into the session, the writing session. But here's what I wanted to paint before everything starts, okay? So what the trade war involves is just about everybody on this map. You have the people of Adrana here. You have the Merphos folk. Down here you have the Wolandi, Tantorum up here. Here's the Valans, the Lyrians, the Valakmir and these islands up here. You have the Etrovians on this giant landmass called Supernia. And you have Dubois, which is from like here down, and the southern states. All of them will be involved in the trade war, which will be passageways from the Mesosar Channel here, the Illyrian, I believe. Let me double check. Sometimes the names, man. Yeah, the Illyrian, Mesosar Channel, the Illyrian, and right here, the IFUIC, the most important places that the conflict will take place. Technically, it was issues out here. Down here is what's called the Sarvine Sea. Right up here is the actual Epirian. So here's the Epirian. Water, seas, passageways. I mean, what are they exactly? Is this considered a sea? They are the most important thing in the entire fucking whole system here. Now, this place, like we've discussed before, is quite a massive place. I've said it once, but from this highest point here to its lowest point down here, in real life, would be the highest point of like Norway, where probably nobody lives, and this would be like Cairo in Egypt. So that's how big this fucking place is. And it's funny how Jacob described it. It'd be like having the Mediterranean, but you can just go all the way up to fucking Norway. Like, it's possible. Just to keep that in mind. Water travel, naval warfare, and trade, if you will. That's what keeps us going. So it's kind of modeled after the importance of the Bronze Age. Many ages after that are going to be just as important, but that's how I'm imagining it. Like, everyone's super reliant on each other here, and the trade wars will be the catalyst to the downfall of society. And we'll probably should talk about the people that are, what's the word I'm thinking of, involved in this. So, these are the nations that are involved. I kind of broke it down to Aeonic, which are all of these. And then there's only 2 Anaku nations. Now, how this will work is the nation of Tantorum. I did not write it down because I thought the guys were coming here yesterday, but they never did. We went to someone else's. So, Vanensteer, I don't remember his first name, is the leader of Tantorum. Their politics, I'm assuming it's like a 𝚿𝚛𝚎 ship or something. I don't know what it's called. Where the 𝚿𝚛s rule each hold, if you will. It's kind of very feudal. I don't know if it's democratic. I don't know anything about that. They rule over Tantorum, and I don't know if they really rule over the Anura Minor, but they're involved in it. Next you have the Adenian Republic, which is Adrana, whose leader is Judan Adine. The politics would be the Even Society. I've talked about that. It's in the videos. It's kind of the same thing as Ducans, except replace Ducan with Evens. The rule. They rule over north of Alia, south of Alia, Poevian, which Poevian is a small island that rests close to, what's the word? Poevian would be right here, kind of off, way off, and close to Elandria. That is a place of trade that they do, but they technically own that place. Now, the next place is Anura Major. Anura Major is, I think it's like actually up here, technically, the Free States of Anura. The next place, 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚘. 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚘, in my mind, I don't know if is truly connected to the trade war. Like actively. Maybe passively, but not actively. So, I'm not really going to go into too much with them because it's just, I think that there was other things going on. I'd have to look at the history again. The 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚘. Now the 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚘, at some point, we're going through a regime change. Let me get my shit out. God damn it. Now the 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚘, the Storm Isles as they're called, the land desolated and fallen to ruin. The major island of 𝚃𝚛𝚎 has become swallowed by a growing curse, one that grows in the very heart of the land, one that will consume all that inhabit it. The story of the 𝚘𝚘𝚎 people is complex and difficult to tell, for at one end is slow progress of time ticking away at the very identification of what is to be a 𝚘𝚘𝚎 person. At the hand of the order of 𝚘𝚎𝚎, Kramos, time will only tell if the new order can surely bring in a new era for the 𝚘𝚘𝚎 people. Yet at the heart of the conflict, as it always is, are the folk that live their daily lives and keep the giant titan of the machine moving and oiled. The story of the real 𝚘𝚘𝚎 people will be forgotten due to the giants of the crown, religions, orders, and even other nations. For it is the people that make the nation, not the events or the figurehead that is called its ruling elite. Your brother was so pissed when he read this. Okay, so 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚘 is kind of going through a regime change. Through the order of the Aruan, they were said to be the force against tyranny. They were the shadow ones that hid from the crown for many long years. So for a long time, the three crowns, I think that was formed, sorry, the the Great Four Rule was 1132, is when the warring states stopped and, monarchy kind of rose and feudalism and stuff like that. That was 1132, that the rule of the four crowns happened. Though at that same time, there were the people at the time that were called the Hidden that were fighting against the rule of the crowns because of what they believed to be like, what's that fucking word? Corrupted and stuff. Now, the order, like I said, we're fighting against them. Shadow ones. Once known as the Hidden, they would bring to power the lowly average man's voice and now control all the Isles of 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚘. In 1617, the push to conquer Kepler Hel-Isine in Thracia occurred after 4 long months of rebellion and siege finally. What would be called the Order of Aruan took the city, and with that, it took the nation. Some would say they took it from the already crumbling republic after many long years of waning by the hand of the darkness that was spreading through 𝚃𝚛𝚎. Though it was not mentioned previously in the land of 𝚃𝚃𝚎, were being consumed by some sort of darkness that was believed to have began in the small village of 𝚆𝚆𝚛 by sorcerers of the whisper. Over time, this taint would corrupt the land and curse any who walk upon it, much like what corrupts in 𝚿𝚛𝚎. It breeds foul creatures that King 𝚃𝚎𝚎, in his reign, dispatches warriors to fight and protect the peoples of the 𝚆𝚛𝚎𝚕 realm. That's a whole separate fucking thing. That has to do with the Titans. That has to do with the high story part. I could go into it, but where it's not important. Just know that that whisper, those are one of the fucking mage whispers, or whatever the hell I just said. They're doing a thing that we discussed, me and the guys discussed the other day. But there is a connection there. Same. Now that curse is kind of causing issues throughout the lands and stuff like that. But there was an order created to kind of combat this. Much like the, I think I call them Chevaliers les Flatteries, which are the Knights of Dubois. Now, that, I don't even know if that's real French, but it just sounded Frenchy to me. What did I call them? I don't know. Oh my god. 𝚃𝚛𝚎𝚕𝚞𝚍. That's what they call them, 𝚃𝚛𝚎𝚕, which is their fucking language. Now they're just kind of fighting this darkness and stuff up there. Now the reason I'm bringing this up is because we're trying to show you the turmoil that's going on in this nation in and of itself that will be kind of occurring during the trade war. So this is something to keep in mind. From that point, we can get into the politics. So that's what's going on with the 𝚆𝚆𝚛𝚜. So their leader is Ęgrovos Jarvin. Under the Order of Aruan, they rule over 𝚃𝚛𝚎, Svalgar, 𝚆𝚆𝚛𝚎, Valma, and Ranhalin. These are the places that the 𝚆𝚆𝚛𝚜 hold, which are the islands. 𝚃𝚛𝚎, Svalgar is right below it. You gotta keep up. Okay, 𝚆𝚆𝚛𝚜 would be, I think, this one here, the giant lake in it. Valma is one of these here, I believe. I think it's this one here. And then the last one, the one with the Anaku Island that is named. What does it say? I can't read it, man. Ranhalin. I don't remember if that's what I called it. Because I literally said in the last video, and I literally made it up. Next, the Hefel. The Hafi people. Leader, Suliuma II. Their politics are the Liberian. Wow, that's not how you say that. The Liberian. Yeah, the Liberian courts. And they rule over Gaiavala, which is the mountain chain that we already talked about. But just in case you need to see it, from the snake's mouth here, all the way down to the two pillars. What are the longest mountain chains in the entire continent? They involved. Now, Dubois. This one we'll have to go into as well. Dubois. Because he was, their leader. At some point, you start to see the Hut Society coming down and the building up of the Knights of the Blight. They become an important political party inside of the actual land. You know, the peoples who kind of, how would I word this? It's very similar to the Mesotonics. It's like they're the people that are the protectorates of the land and all that stuff have become kind of this political party, if you will. So, kind of Templary in a way. Well, that leader would be 𝚃𝚎𝚎 the Great. So instead of 𝚃𝚎𝚎 the General, he's become 𝚃𝚎𝚎 the Great. Politics. That would be under the Merchant Kings / the Hut Society. The Hut Society are those people, the aristocratic class, are the ruling bankers over the country. The Merchant Kings are kind of right there with them. You have the banking class and you have the merchant class, and those are the ones that are kind of dictating everything that happens on Dubois. Okay? Oh. So, I hope I didn't erase anything. This whole area, all of Dubois, North and Sar, that's where we start to see the Merchant Kings and the Hut Society taking control over Dubois. We'll get into it a little bit here. Now, what the point of this is, Dubois is kind of going through similar kind of stuff. Let's do this, because remember? Dubois is similarly going through things just like the 𝚆𝚆𝚛𝚎 are, where there's some sort of strange kind of darkness happening that they can't quite understand what it is. Now, I know what it is. You might know what it is in 25 years when I finish the book. But as of the people, they truly don't understand what's going on. Now, as it was said, the reason that this is being brought up is because there's a little bit of history leading to what Dubois, I should probably have like, I'll do that, leading to Dubois into why they became what they became. Does that make sense, y'all? Yeah. For the longest time, from their beginnings, which would be circa 300s-ish, so kind of around the same time Adran and Tantorum were becoming nations and stuff like that, so was Dubois. Now, they went through a list of them, and there was a lot of trade and a lot of good stuff and fun things happening for many years. But it was the year 1588, so however many years that is before 1647. I can't do that kind of math in my head. If you want to do it and you want to tell me about it, do not comment it. Put it on someone else's video and have no context. Don't tell them why it's there. That's what I would do. Now, in 1588, we begin to see the collapse of the monarchy. It was a tumultuous time, and it all started with a man named 𝚃𝚎𝚎𝚎, some kid who was born in obscurity. Now, he would lead the revolt in the city of Albion. That would be the place where a strange encounter with an Aeon would change history forever. For it was Quinn that was chosen to lead the people of Valeron from captivity and enslavement and into the ancient ways beneath the 𝚆𝚆𝚎𝚎 mountains. Now, his small revolution that freed many slaves were gathered up after the conquest of 𝚆𝚎𝚎, which is a realm within fucking Dubois. It was a village. 𝚆𝚎𝚎 was a village that was home to the peoples of Valeron, the outcasts in the land of Dubois. And just a whole thing happens, okay? There was a slave rebellion. Think of it like that. Now, the kings of Dubois would not like this, and they kind of, a war happened, a civil war between the slave class and the monarchies. Well, that led to much ruin. The slaves that followed Quinn disappeared, the monarchy crumbled, and what stood from that was the merchant nation. That would come to rise. The banking, the aristocratic class. So the high aristocrats, the bankers, and the merchants and all that took over the country essentially in order to keep it fucking moving, basically. Now, that is where they sit as of 1588. Well, during that time, during all that shit, just gotta make sure I don't have it mentioned here. I never wrote them in there. What an asshole I am. But during that time, after the 𝚃𝚛𝚎𝚕𝚞𝚍 thing in the 1500s, from that point on, the hot society and the merchant class take over, the merchant kings. Well, the blight slowly becomes a bigger and bigger and bigger issue, and in time, in the mid-1600s, you see the 𝚃𝚊𝚆𝚛𝚎 or some shit, I don't remember. You see these knights of the blight, as that's what that means, come to power. Now, for the longest time, think of them like the Templars. Then eventually they would kind of grow more. And now, imagine the Templars never were abolished by, what was it, the French or something? I can't quite remember if that's what it was that said that they were doing this and that, had them killed. I don't remember. But, same thing, but it was the knights who won out, and now they find themselves in rule for the past, not even 30 years. So it's a new nation under a new kind of crown, if you will. And it was General 𝚃𝚎𝚎 who was in control here. And his ambition for his people, because of what he knows about the blight, is to move southward, is to gain the lands of the south. Well, guess who's in the way? Quran. So that's where they're sitting at the beginning of the trade war. Now, they rule over the realm of Dubois, which is the middle. They rule over Morin, which is this. It's kind of like a land feature off of it. And then 𝚃𝚛𝚎𝚎, small area down here. 𝚃𝚘𝚡lands over here, kind of north of this great lake. 𝚃𝚡lands. Nosvota is this cursed land here. Leovarchus Cardus, of course. Next, Wulandii. The Wulandii are the people that live down here, between the Murphos and 𝚃𝚏𝚎. So they're fucking right here, right below the two pillars. The Wulandii are, like the rulers of Wulandii, are the Hanno High King. I almost said High Knights. The Hanno High King. That is the king of, let's go over this one. The actual Yslandii come from island chains down here. This is merely just a, what is that called? It's a continental, the settlement. So just think of how the Americas and Britain, like that. Like technically we're still part of it. Now, the king of Wulandii would be King Philip Cardina. His name is Philip Cardina, not Philip. Philip. He's the one that rules over Wulandii. Wulandii are the commonwealth of the Yslandii. Now, meaning that they are just rulers over 𝚆𝚎𝚎, which is what that place is called, Wulandii, the land of the 𝚆𝚎𝚎, the land of the four tribes, which, who are those four tribes? Well, fucking, they're gone now. 𝚃𝚎𝚎 wiped them out, but that's what they were called. That probably has something to do with the 𝚃𝚛𝚎𝚕𝚞𝚍. But anyway, they come from the Yslandia and the Domestic Isles. Now, this nation doesn't really play much of a part in it, but their land does, because the beginning of the Second Valiant campaigns will happen in Valandia, or otherwise known as the Valons. There is not a leader. There are warring tribes vying for that. The politics, they are technically a divided puppet state between 𝚃𝚎𝚎 and Lyria. So That's kind of what that is. Now, the last three places of the south. So the south, down here. South Ansar, they just call the south. For whatever reason. You have Quran, 𝚃𝚛𝚎𝚕𝚞, and 𝚆𝚊𝚛𝚜. I wasn't able to ask them the questions I wanted to ask, so all I'll say is in Quran, you have King Vesemir. In 𝚃𝚎𝚕𝚞, King Haradra, and then 𝚆𝚊𝚛𝚜, the merchant princes or something. I don't know. That's all the players of the Aeonic races that are going to be involved. These are each independent nations. We're talking, I don't even know, close to 1 million fucking people? You only have two nations of the Anaku, the Etrovians. Emperor Apovak Ebenos Kaliat. Under the Imperial Senate, or as called the High Council, they rule over Supernia, Danae, Hifrandi, and the Anaku Alliance, which is basically the beginning of the Empire of the Mind. Then you have Lyria. Xanathos Darine, under the Darine dynasty, ruling over Lyria and a portion of Valens. A little bit of confliction here, but we'll get into that a little bit more. But I wanted to give a kind of general overview of here's every nation that's going to be involved in that situation. And I wanted to give a kind of setup here of where this takes place. And maybe what I'll do is go into a little bit of detail, like circling on an actual picture, the nations and all that stuff. Let's do it. This is what we're going to do. First nation that we mentioned, Adrana. That is the nation of Adrana. You have north of Valia and south of Valia, dividing a line like that. And like I said, they own the island here, and then the Anura Major area. You can see the beginning of an empire. Now, blue. Let's make this Albadan. That'll be green. Albadan is from the Green Great Wall through the bowl. They own most of this land here. That's Albadan. Now, I have a picture of Albadan when it comes to what each little realm's called. I used to have it right next to me on that thing there. We're not going to go into detail, but that's Albadan. Hey. Now, next one, Valakmir. We'll make them orange. They have the 4 islands. One island down here. This big one here, which is called 𝚃𝚌. Svalgar, the one Anaku Island, and then this guy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 islands. It's 𝚃𝚌, Svalgar, 𝚆𝚤𝚎𝚘, Valma, and I don't know if I can make a small little R, but that's the Ranhalin. Okay. Next, we said the Hafel. We're going to make them gray. From here, which is, damn it, I fucked that up. The Serpent's Mouth. Vowels were spite. And going into Willandia. The 2 pillars. Wrapping around Gale. Through the forest. That's the Hafi. Okay, that's their territory. Dubois. Golly, I don't know. Let's go yellow. Let's go purple. They're picky up there. Each individual lands of them are just inconsequential. So anything north of the mountains, which means all of this, but not the 𝚆𝚊𝚛𝚎 Isles. Do nice and quick. This down here is 𝚿𝚛𝚎𝚎. This right here is the Morin Strait, which is called Morin. This land right here is the Sightlands. Well, I'm trying to remember the other ones. Oh, yeah. This land is 𝚃𝚛𝚎, begins with a P. 𝚆𝚊𝚛𝚎𝚎. Believe 𝚆𝚊𝚛𝚎 was like this little island right here. This area is Nosvota, and then this whole middle area is actually Dubois. That's how that works. Now, Wollandi. What color should the Wollandi be? Hey, you haven't done blue yet. Ooh, that's fun. I love that you said that. I'm going to do pink. No. Blue. Wollandi. South of the Murphos, hugging the border of the Fell, and stopping right about here are the Wollandi. God, what would no, because we're red. They're orange. We're gonna make the oh geez, that's how you make it go away. Okay. That is the Valens. And then we have we'll get here. We'll get here. Just wait a minute. Okay, just wait a minute. There's not a whole lot of colors here, man. Because I imagine them as red as well. We'll make them red too. Good red ding ding. Let me zoom in here. Whoa, that was a very zoom in here. This, my friends. Easy, my friend. Boom. And then obviously that's Gale. Bum 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 bum. That is Tantorum. Okay. Tantitorium rests upon there. Now, the kingdoms of man in the south. We'll make them another kind of green. Kind of within the mountains, but not of the mountains, sexually. This is the kingdom of... Whoops. This is the kingdom of Quran. These are the Ludinese, which are something separate of themselves. These guys are the Sarceans. Something like this are the... They're also, I think, a Raziome. I don't know. This is where I'm confused. I'm probably ruining it. And there's someone here, but I don't remember their names. But whatever. Now, these guys. These are the Lyrians that are in this area here. Okay. And last, but most certainly least, purple. Which are these guys too. What kind of purple do you want? I want a fucking beautiful purple. We have probably the largest landmass of all. Whoa, it's moving everyone around them. Yeah, exactly. Go away, he said. This is the kingdom, the empire of Etrovia, to which they own, I think, this island. Yeah, that's 𝚿𝚛𝚎 as well, and then this one here, and they also own the 𝚃𝚆𝚛𝚎 up here. This right here is a Trovia. So, as you can see, the entire map is taken up, except for this spot down here. I do know that there is a kingdom here, but I don't remember their fucking names. Maybe that is Erazium, and then the merchant princes, which I don't remember who they are. The 𝚃𝚊𝚛𝚎? Are the 𝚃𝚊𝚛 different from the Erazium? I don't know. But that's how it generally works, just so to kind of get an understanding of where everyone is. And you can see the Merfolk, obviously. Their land is pretty clear and distinct. But I wanted to show that so you can see, generally, where everyone sits. And that's that, Mr. That's That. One of my shorter videos. But, I wanted to kind of give a general overview before I get into the meat and potatoes of the trade wars. This is your fucking job at this point. You can see where the land is. I just did it. You can see where they are. You saw the map anyway. And you can see the major players of said map. That's all you need to know. Here's where everyone is. Here's what they own. Here's the ruler. And that's it. What else need I say? I'm not going to go into too much of the history, but going forward, this shall be the trade wars and how it started. I wish I could animate. Oh, I wish I could. Maybe one day.